Thank you for joining the New York University Graduate School of Arts and Science Virtual Open House. My name is Sina Berg, and I am a Senior Assistant Director in Graduate Enrollment Services at GSAS. And we have a great team of GSAS administrators taking part in this event today who will be answering your questions a bit later. We are also so pleased to have a student speaker joining us today who you will hear from soon. But first, I am going to go through a brief presentation about important topics such as deciding what to study, academic preparation, assembling your strongest application, and what makes NYU GSAS unique. We look forward to answering your questions during the Q&A portion of this session, and we ask that you wait until then to ask your questions because we hope to address many of the things that are on your mind throughout our presentation. Whether you have already started an application or are still making your decision on whether to apply and when, we hope you find today's session helpful. Note that throughout the presentation, we will provide links to useful information in the chat. We will also email these links as well as a recording of the presentation after today's session. We want to give you a sense for the core offices in the Graduate School of Arts and Science that support students through the application process and provide student programming and support once enrolled. Those include Graduate Enrollment Services, the Master's College, Academic and Student Affairs, and our 54 academic departments and programs, which are the home base for our students. So what makes NYU GSAS unique? Founded in 1886, the Graduate School of Arts and Science is one of the oldest graduate schools in the United States. We build on a long tradition of excellence while looking to the future, preparing the world's next generation of scholars, thinkers, writers, and leaders. Each year, we enroll over 5,000 students in a broad spectrum of programs, including doctoral, master's, dual, and joint degree programs, as well as global programs and advanced certificates. The school's 54 academic departments convene scholars who conduct path-breaking research and prepare for careers both inside and outside of academia. NYU's campus is in and of the city and of the world. NYU is the largest independent research university in the United States and is primarily located in the heart of downtown Manhattan and Brooklyn. Beyond our campus in New York City, however, lies a world of opportunity within NYU's global network. With NYU Abu Dhabi and NYU Shanghai, our other degree granting campuses, as well as 12 international academic centers in Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, South America, and Australia, NYU offers global experiences for our community. NYU and GSAS have amazing campus resources, such as our libraries, sports facilities, and our Wasserman Center for Career Development. We have award-winning faculty and are committed to student success and to building community. So, what to study in graduate school or for your next graduate program? We know that some of you have already decided on the graduate programs you will be applying to. For those of you who are still researching graduate program options, we encourage you to review academic departments' websites for programs that interest you. Read faculty bios, review course offerings, look into what program alumni are up to, and speak with current students to determine the best fit program for you. For NYU GSAS, you can only apply to one program in a given term, so consider carefully the best fit program for you. Now we're going to talk about preparing to apply and putting together your strongest application. Be sure to review the application requirements specific to the program you are applying to. You want to be sure to follow instructions carefully so that your application stands out and showcases your strengths. Each department has a faculty committee that reviews applications. Admissions decisions are made in our academic departments and not by graduate enrollment services. All of your information can be submitted in the online application. You do not need to mail us anything. All applicants are required to submit the following: an application fee, official academic transcripts, a statement of academic purpose, resume or CV, 3 letters of recommendation, and depending on the specific program you are applying to, you may need to submit additional materials such as a GRE score report or a writing sample. We've created frequently asked questions for the various components of the application, which should answer most questions you may have. These can be found on our Application Resource Center page. So diving into the application a bit more, we are going to start with the statement of academic purpose, since it is one of the most important parts of your application. It can showcase not only your experience and goals, but also your writing style and what makes you unique. Use the statement of academic purpose to tell your story. It should explain your career plans and educational objectives, how your past experiences contribute to your future goals, why a particular program interests you and be specific, and what contributions you will make to the program. We encourage you to ask friends, colleagues, family members, or faculty advisors to read your statement and provide feedback. Please proofread the document carefully. Once you have submitted your application, you cannot make edits. Be sure to pay attention to department-specific instructions included in the application. Some programs ask specific questions to help frame your statement. As we mentioned, you will need to submit 3 letters of recommendation. We recommend you request letters from faculty who really know you and your abilities. We encourage you to ask early, allow your recommenders plenty of time to write a great letter for you. Provide samples of your work, remind them of classes you've taken, research projects you assisted with, and provide any relevant materials that will help them address your potential for graduate study. It's always a good idea to follow up with a gentle reminder close to the application deadline if they haven't already submitted their letters. And that's all for that. Now we're going to go over testing. Some of our programs require the GRE. For some, it's optional, and for others, it is not required. Be sure to check the program's requirements and deadlines on our Application Resource Center page to review the GRE testing requirements for the program that you are applying for. Please pay attention to the specific instructions listed for your degree and program. For example, in some departments, the GRE may be required for the PhD and not for the master's, or vice versa. So just double check what is the requirement for the specific program within the department you are applying to. The graduate school requires applicants who are not native English speakers to submit official TOEFL or IELTS scores. This requirement is waived for students who have completed or will complete their bachelor's or master's degree at a university where the language of instruction is English. There is another essay you can submit, the optional personal history statement. Anyone can submit this statement and provide additional insights on your background and experience. The purpose of this optional essay is to get to know you as an individual and as a potential graduate student. You can describe how your background has motivated you to pursue a graduate degree. Note that the personal history statement is not meant to be a general autobiography. The statement is optional and should not duplicate the statement of academic purpose or exceed 2 double-spaced pages. GSAS students have access to a wide range of resources and services during their time at NYU, ranging from student groups and organizations, counseling and wellness, health insurance, accessibility services, on and off campus housing resources, international student support, career services, and more. The Student Health Center, for example, offers medical care, counseling, health promotion, and pharmacy services, and provides accessibility accommodations for students with disabilities. All enrolled students in a degree granting program have access to the Student Health Center, regardless of insurance. We know that many applicants are giving a lot of thought to how to finance your education. So we are going to discuss financial aid options available to NYU students. Most doctoral students are fully funded under the McCracken program. Additional applications are not required for consideration for GSAS scholarships or fellowships, with the exception of our scholarship matching program, which I will discuss shortly. Financial aid is available in some master's programs. Please review the website of the program you are interested in to see if they offer scholarships. U.S. citizens and permanent residents should file the FAFSA to apply for federal student loans and work study. Graduate students are eligible for up to $20,500 in federal unsubsidized Stafford loans. The GSAS Tuition Incentive Program is a scholarship matching program. We encourage students to apply for external scholarships and provide tuition support to recipients of external awards. Most external scholarship application deadlines are in the fall, and funding begins the following fall. And the TIP application is due by August 31st each year. GSAS has a financial aid program to assist elementary and secondary school teachers in the tri-state area. We offer a 50% tuition scholarship to qualified full-time classroom teachers. GSAS also participates in the Yellow Ribbon Program for veterans of U.S. Armed Forces, and we provide funding for other active duty service members who are part of the Advanced Civil School and related funding programs. For PhD students, we have a PhD calculator resource on our website that you can use to learn about compensation for things like being a teaching assistant or grader, which are paid in addition to the stipend. If you are admitted to GSAS, you can search for on and off campus employment, including federal work study positions and internships, through our Wasserman Center for Career Development, and typically students gain access to this resource even before the start of their first semester. Students can learn about opportunities to become resident assistants through the Office of Resident Life and Housing Services. Graduate students can apply for a position after they have completed one semester at NYU. In addition to questions around how to finance your education, we know that another topic on the minds of many of our prospective students centers around life in New York City and finding housing. Our Living in New York City section on the website provides information on how to find an apartment, public transportation, where to find cheap eats, how to navigate the city streets, and resources for moving, among other topics. NYU on-campus graduate housing is extremely limited and available on a waitlist basis only to students enrolled in master's or non-McCracken doctoral programs. When selecting students from the waitlist, GSAS gives priority to international students and to students who have a permanent U.S. address that is more than 35 miles from NYU. NYU Student Resource Center advises students on the apartment search process through a variety of resources, such as commonly used websites for apartment searches, a roommate registry, legal resources, local brokers, and more. For those of you in the New York area or who will be able to visit, NYU offers campus tours most weekdays. There is also an informative virtual campus tour with key insights shared by current students. Okay, now is the time for you to ask questions and get answers with GSAS administrators. Please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom window. Each time you ask a question, be sure to include the program you are interested in your question. This will help us to get you the most specific information possible. We will do our best to answer all questions. In some cases, we may recommend you contact the academic department you are interested in directly with your question. It may take a few minutes for us to respond to your questions. We tend to get quite a lot in these events, so we thank you for your patience and we thank you for your questions. We are going to be responding to questions for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we are going to invite up our student speaker because we really want you to get a chance to hear from her, and then we'll continue answering questions as they come in. So that is the plan. Thank you all for your great and thoughtful questions and answers. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you for all of the great questions. Thank you for all of the great answers. We really appreciate your interest and engagement, everyone who's joining us today. And we have a lot of questions, as you can probably see, that we're working through, and our team is going to keep answering these. I'm going to address a few that are pretty common questions, and then we're going to invite up our student speaker, and our team is going to continue answering your questions. So that is the plan. I flagged a few, and the Zoom webinar tool is often a little challenging for me because it jumps around a lot, but I'm going to try to find the questions I've flagged, and thank you for your patience. Okay, one question is, I'm planning to apply for the PhD in environmental health sciences. This could be any of our PhD programs. Do applicants need to reach out to potential faculty advisors before applying? We get this question a lot. For the most part, the answer is no, it's not typically required at all. It's something you can do if you feel like it might be helpful to establish a connection with a faculty member, or if you have questions about their research, because this is a two-way fit. We understand you're trying to assess whether this program is a good fit for you and what you can get out of it. And of course, the admissions committee will be looking to see what you would be bringing in terms of your experience and your goals and understanding of what's happening in the program. So for most of our programs, it's up to you whether you want to reach out to faculty. Keep in mind, some faculty respond, some don't. Don't take it personally. It's just, a faculty member might be on sabbatical when you reach out, or up for tenure and just swamped, or be really responsive. So for the most part, it's up to you whether to reach out to faculty. It's always good to look at the FAQ for an individual program you're applying for. Sometimes they'll address this question as well and provide additional guidelines. So look at the admissions FAQs for all of the programs you're applying for, and see if you can get more detailed information. But that's the general response that we give to that question across our PhD and master's programs. For letters of recommendation, is it better to keep them at 3, even though I have 4 professors willing to write? This question comes up a lot too. So typically, yes, 3 is better than 4 when you're trying to be mindful of admissions committees reading sometimes hundreds of applications, or less is more, but less the strongest. The strongest 3 can be the best. If there's truly if you truly feel like 4 people can talk about unique experience and strengths that you would bring to the program, and there's really unique insights that each of the 4 can share, fine. But otherwise, yes, typically the recommendation would be to keep it at 3. So ultimately, that's your judgment call. Have one more that I flagged, and I have to find it. Here we go. Okay, so this is coming up a lot too. As an international applicant, the visa process takes some time. Could you please advise if there's any way to expedite or plan accordingly? So firstly, we want to acknowledge that we know that it's a stressful time for international applicants with visa processing, and our admissions committees are certainly mindful of that and trying to turn around decisions as quickly as possible. There's nothing you can do to expedite. There's nothing our office, Graduate Enrollment Services, can do to expedite, but our admissions committees are mindful of the situation. As of course, is our Office of Global Services. So that's our really huge, amazing office that supports our international students and scholars around visa and other matters. So everyone's aware of the situation and really here to support you the best way possible. So know that, and beyond that, there's nothing you can do to expedite other than apply on time or early. And so that's our best advice on that. So I'm going to switch gears now. Again, feel free to keep asking questions, keep mentioning which program you are interested in. Our team is working very hard on this. Thank you all so much. But we want you to have a chance to hear from our current student who I am going to invite up. Kaya, if you would join us. We are so pleased to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
for having
And
me.
thank you. So to kick this off, we wanted you to just introduce yourself. If you could say your name, where you're from, and the graduate program that you are a part of here at NYU.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Kaya. I'm from the Netherlands originally, and right now I'm in my second year of the Animal Studies Masters, which is part of the Environmental Studies department.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Kaya. So I'm going to start with a few questions for Kaya, but we are going to also keep an eye on the Q&A and encourage you all to ask questions as well. So we'll be looking at that. But to get us started, Kaya, could you tell us about, what made you decide to apply to NYU and then ultimately to join us here?
Okay, so animal studies, not to confuse with animal science, is very niche, and it's very still emerging. So basically, there's only a handful of places around the world where you can study this. So yeah, that made it kind of easier for me to determine. And then NYU specifically, the program and its focus, that was the closest to my own personal interests. So yeah, once I got accepted here, that's where I knew I wanted to go.
Amazing. And you're originally from the Netherlands. Did you move to New York for grad school? Or were you
Yes.
already here? Okay, you moved here. So
No.
can you tell us, and that's very common. So we have about the majority of our students move to New York to participate in our programs, and we have about 40% international students at any every year. So most of our students are moving here and getting settled, as you know from your classmates. Can you talk about your experiences moving to New York, finding an apartment, adjusting to the city? What has that been like for you?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, it is stressful and it is difficult. Also for me, I didn't know anyone in the city, so I didn't just move here by myself, but also had no contacts, which is I feel can help you. So if you do have some people that you know in the city, definitely try to reach out to them. Maybe they know some people who have a place, but also maybe they would be willing if you're good friends to check out apartments for you. Because I think the most difficult thing is like signing a lease without having seen it is very difficult, and people advise against it often because there might be fraud involved. So, yeah, definitely try to see if you have any connections here. Um, I also, in the end, I just found something through a friend of a friend. I found a company that had private dorms for students where I lived my first year. And then now for my second year, I moved. Um, and it was definitely easier this time around knowing the city. So I knew the neighborhoods, I knew which places were nice to live with like transportation to university. And I also was able to go see places. But in the meantime, I found this tool which might be helpful for people. It's called Ohana, which is for subletting. And on Instagram, there's an Instagram account called NYU Subletting, like all together as one word. And they have a community within Ohana where NYU students sublet to each other, basically. So you can become a member of this group. And this could be a really nice place to find a short term stay, maybe for August or something, and then using that to find and look at other places. So that's kind of what I did this year around. I had a subletting place for August, and then I went to see a lot of places around the city, and then in September I moved to my current apartment.
That's amazing. I hadn't heard of that resource. Thank you for sharing about that. That sounds really helpful. And thank you for sharing all of the insights on your experiences. Yes, it can. We hear that all the time, and of course, I have my own experience moving in the region, and yes, it can be very, very stressful. And what I always want to say is that everyone finds housing. There's tons of housing. I mean, that's the upside. There's just tons of housing, and so many neighborhoods. Are accessible because NYU is so centrally located. So many of the train lines run to campus, which is a real upside of our location, other than it also being really beautiful and
Hmm.
special. But yes, it does take a lot of work to find housing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but definitely don't be put away or put off by like distances. Like I have friends who live in like the Bronx, in Queens, in Brooklyn, and if you are kind of semi close to a subway station, you can always get to campus for sure.
okay, amazing. So could you, Kaya, a person followed up, Ohana, where can I find that? Can you say that again? How to find the
Oh,
Instagram?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to Instagram and you type in NYU subletting, that's an Instagram account and they use Ohana. So if you follow their account and look at their, or you can actually reach out to them and then they can link you to the Ohana group with
Okay.
NYU students. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that clarification. So we have a another question from a participant. What is something that you find your NYU find unique about your NYU program that distinguishes it from other programs, for example, community, culture, etc.? If
Um, Wait, is this meant like academically or
um
NYU?
yeah.
Okay, well,
Maybe answer it. Yeah, but they give the
more
examples of
broad for
community and
everyone.
culture, but like yeah,
Yeah.
definitely academically address that too if you yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Um, I think for me, what I really like about NYU is there's so many resources. Actually, Sina already mentioned a lot of them, but I've been at quite a few universities back in Europe, like also for like maybe a semester or for a short term. But here, like the library and the librarians are amazing. The writing center to help you out with things. The academic resources here are really, really good, and I would encourage everyone, if you decide to go here, to make the most use of it as you can. I know personally that I kind of started a little late with this. You have some time to kind of warm up to everything that's out there, but yeah, really try to find everything that's here. And then when it comes to like the culture, the community of NYU, I think there's a lot. Like at the beginning of the semester, we have Club Fest, where there's a lot of NYU clubs, like so many. Like I think there's literally something for everyone, where you can just kind of try to find your own little group of people and join them, which is a great way to get to know people from other programs like around campus. Um, yeah, and I think you can also even start a new club if there happens to not be something that you like. So you can really try to make your own place here, I think, which is something I really like about NYU. They really try to invest in our community and getting to know other people. And then academically speaking, my program personally, um, it's animal studies in general is the relationship between humans and non-human animals. And we really try to focus on this from a cultural perspective, which is something I really enjoy. And other programs tend to be a bit more maybe animal science focused, where they focus on like biology, which is less my interest. So that was for me personally.
Amazing. Thank you for all of those insights. We have a lot of questions for you, which is
I
so
see.
great. I'm so pleased. Thank you, everyone. So here's another one related to career path, which you've been touching on. But the question is, could you share your thoughts, experiences on how NYU is helping you lead into industry or along
um,
your career path, whether that's academic or
Yeah. Okay. So my program personally, for example, we have a capstone seminar, which is a required course where they get in a lot of alumni, and people from the field to kind of share their experience. Like, how did they make choices on where to go, and how did they get there? And then also you're kind of encouraged to think about your own uh, path where you want to go. So I think that really helped me personally. Um, And then the Wasserman Center is another great resource on campus, which is focused on kind of career development. And you can have like one-on-one sessions with them to kind of talk about this. They also host a lot of events on, yeah, kind of figuring it out for yourself. And they also have, what do you call these events where you can meet all kinds of people from industry to actually talk with people.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm just scrolling through these to see which ones we can have you answer. Well, one thing I want to be sure to ask that comes up a lot from prospective students is, and you've been touching on it already, but finding community on campus. So could you say a little bit more about what that has looked like for you? And it can be professional too, but also just, even more broadly, what have been resources that have been helpful for you? What advice do you have for people moving to New York and starting up at NYU to, yeah, get a sense of community here?
Yeah, like I said, definitely try out Club Fest and try to find if there's a club that you would like to join. Also, if you do feel comfortable with this, if you, for example, my master's is really small. We started with 12 people in my cohort, and maybe try to take the lead on kind of trying to make your own community. So I started a WhatsApp group, and we still use it to this day. We added the new people from the new cohort, and
Hmm,
we just share resources or like fun events that we come across, and then maybe we go together. Um, and I think that really helps because grad school doesn't necessarily also always have a lot of classroom hours. So you kind of sometimes have to make find this time yourself to meet up with your classmates. Also, I guess this depends on your faculty, but for us, for example, we often have lunch kind of panels or lectures, and then a lot of people, like both students and faculty members, go to these lectures, and that's a really nice way to kind of get to know other people within your department, I think.
amazing. And you just answered one of the questions that came through around speaker series or,
Yeah, I saw that.
okay. Is there anything else you would add for that one around, yeah.
um, NYU has, I don't even know how many newsletters where you can subscribe to, and like they all kind of different departments or like institutes within the
Hmm.
university host their own speaker series or their own lectures. So if you try to find the newsletters on the topics that you are interested in, you can find one every day, probably even twice a day if you would like to go.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We hear that all the time. There's so much happening at the
Yeah.
university. And to your point, there's things that are like NYU, like at a high level across all of NYU. There are things that are specific to the Graduate School of Arts and Science. There's things that are specific to different academic programs. And in many cases, as you're saying, they're open across. So you don't have to be in a specific program to join a speaker series or a brown bag lunch or a social type of event. And yeah, there's just so much happening and you can just pick and choose every day. I mean, I guess on that point, another question that we hear, we get a lot is around sort of finding work-life balance with all of the amazing opportunities, but also all of the work that you're doing. How do you sort of juggle the various parts of your life to optimize to the best possible?
Yeah, it can definitely obviously sometimes be a struggle. I think that goes for everyone. Um, but yeah, grad school can be demanding, definitely. Even though we might not have a lot of classroom hours, we do have a lot of homework. But generally, I think only when it's midterms or finals do I sometimes not have time to like meet up with friends or do something fun in the city. But other than that, I believe I'm very much a library person. Like you can find me in the library 5 days a week because I can't study in my room. I don't do anything when I'm home. So I just go to campus and I try to do all my work during the day. Obviously, sometimes I will need an evening when there's a deadline. But if I think I do believe that if you try to just work during the weekdays, during the days, you should be able to have um, most evenings and weekends to just focus on your personal life. So far that has been going okay for me. I'm also a TA, so I can even combine doing a program and having a job and having a personal life. And this obviously depends on your this differs from person to person, but when I look at me and most of my friends, we were generally able to combine this.
That's great. And congratulations on the TA opportunity. Can you
Thank you.
tell us a bit about how you obtained that? And I know it varies by department, but what was that process like for you?
Yeah, so our department posts all the TA positions for the next semester, kind of like halfway through the current semester. So I think like coming up soon, we will get the ones for spring. And yes, okay, so this was definitely a thing, me being Dutch. For us, it's very much when I got my TA jobs when I was in undergrad, it was just like, okay, the people with the maybe the top grades, would just be invited by the professor and that would be it. And so I just kind of applied and I was waiting and like kind of nothing happened. And I was like, okay, well, that's a bummer. And then I really realized here it does work a little bit different. Like it helps if you reach out to the professors. So if you get the
Mm.
list with all the TA jobs that are gonna be open, and you're like, okay, this one would really fit my interests and my resume. Try to reach out to the professor and be like, hey, I saw that you're looking for a TA. This is my background. Send your resume and kind of try to get in touch with them before you actually apply. So yeah, this depending on where you're from, this might be feel normal to you, but for me, this was definitely not something I ever thought about. So I went to a professor. I was like, yeah, I kind of just I don't seem to get any jobs, and I'm like wondering, is there something in my resume, like am I missing something? And they were just like, oh no, kind of try to get this personal relationship before you apply. So that might be a tip that might be useful for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's really helpful to hear. And I just realized not everyone knows what TA is. So that's teaching
Oh yeah.
assistant, and that supports the primary faculty of a class. Um, and it varies by program and department what the opportunities might look like for current graduate students. But across many of the program areas, there are opportunities to TA or be course assistants, which is slightly different. And as Kaya said, that you would receive email that students receive emails about opportunities in advance of the coming term. Sometimes across departments. For example, I recall when I worked in the linguistics program, sometimes anthropology or psychology might cross-list TA opportunities depending on skill set or background of the students in linguistics might be eligible as well, and vice versa. So that would still generally come through your department as well. Another adjacent academic department might ask your department to send a list or send an opportunity about a teaching assistant or course assistant or greater opportunity in their area. So,
Mhm.
so those are great insights. Thank you. We have time for one more question. I don't see. I mean, really quickly, actually, this won't be the last question, but there was a question about just housing shortage in terms of finding a place, if it's comparable to the crisis in the Netherlands. Maybe this person's from the Netherlands, but I guess if there's anything more you would add around that for finding housing here.
Well, I haven't lived in the Netherlands for the past 3 years, so I haven't tried to conquer that housing market, but it seems more intense back home than it is here because, like Sina already said, there is so much housing here. So yeah, it might be stressful and overwhelming to try to find something, but so far I haven't heard of anyone who hasn't actually managed to find something on time.
Great. That's my understanding as well. Okay, so I have one last question for you, Kaya, which is actually more of like the catch-all. In the chat, we're getting tons of questions about application process and things along those lines. So if there's any sort of last wisdom you could share around navigating the application process, any advice, tips, thinking back to, where you were at a couple of years ago, that would be great if you could share those.
Yeah, I think definitely, Sina, you already said it, but take your time is important. When it comes to your statements, if you take a bit more time, you can go over them a few times, and then that will definitely make them better. It also might help you to actually think about where do I fit the best. just by writing honestly on where you would like to go, basically. And also, definitely for your letters of rec, that can be stressful if you're waiting for professors to hand that in for you. Like I had one that did it like right on the deadline, and I was just looking at my computer and I was like, oh my God. So definitely give them time. And if they take some extra time to kind of hand it in, send them a reminder. Um, and also for like getting all your transcripts from like maybe your undergrad or maybe you went to different universities, like it might time for administrations to get back to you and get you all these documents that you need. So start on time. That's the main important thing, I think. And whenever you have questions about something that you don't understand or you're not sure, like what should I include here or what do they want from me, just email the department that you're applying to. So far, everywhere I've noticed, everyone is super helpful and they really want to help you out with your application. So make use of that if you need it.
Those are all great tips. Thank you so much, Kaya. Thank you for joining us today and sharing insights on your experiences and advice. And we're just so pleased that you could make the time to be with us. Thank you.
Thank you and good luck, everyone. I really hope it works out.
Thank you. So this concludes today's session. We will stay and continue answering questions, but we want to thank you for your interest in the Graduate School of Arts and Science at NYU and for making the time to join us today. Again, a big thank you to Kaya and also to all of our colleagues across the graduate school who've been helping with questions. If you have follow-up questions, you can email us at gsas.admissions@nyu.edu, or as Kaya mentioned, you can contact the program directly that you are interested in. You can also call or stop by our office. Our contact information is here on the screen. Our office is located right behind the arch if you were to like walk through it with the way the picture is posted now, and then on the right side, circle around those buildings. Truly, we'd love for you to come by. We're open 9 to 5 every day. Follow us on Instagram at Meet GSAS. And we will be sending an email in the next day or so with the presentation we shared, a recording of the session, as well as the links that we shared throughout the session. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are, and best of luck with your future endeavors. Take care, everyone.